Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is the Women's Day special. I wish all our women viewers watching this show a very happy and prosperous Women's Day, and we hope that this year turns out to be a year of all accomplishments that you desire in this year as well. Now, on this special edition, we're going to be talking about women and money, which is an important issue, but sometimes it can be a tricky issue as well. But today, we are here to explain why this issue actually goes beyond just the money that you have in your banks. It's actually about liberation. It's about freedom to pursue your dreams and the confidence of having financial security, which emboldens you to face any kind of possible life situation. And therefore, on this special edition, we have got top experts to guide you through all your money-related decisions. Joining in on this panel with me, we have Sugandha Sachdeva, and you've always seen her on the channel talk about gold and silver investments at large. She's the founder of SS Well Street. So warm welcome to you as well. And we come to Sugandha also on the same fact, and I want to understand from you. For years and decades, you've been studying gold and silver investments. You've started talking about and guiding people on mutual funds and investments in stock markets as well. I want to understand from you, what's your current sense? Are women stepping out of their comfort zone when it comes to investing money from the traditional methods of, say, FD or having just gold jewelry as the key investments, but are they moving across and are they looking at brighter forums for them to invest in?
Yeah, hi Sakshi. First of all, thanks for having me on your show. Wishing you, my co-panelists, and all the female viewers a very happy International Women's Day.
Thank
you.
you.
Talking about your point, traditionally women have been just investing in FDs or in gold as a jewelry for consumption purposes. But then we are seeing a lot of shifting trends as of now. More and more women are taking charge of their money, especially the age group of around 25 to 44. They are now currently inclined towards the new age capital market instruments. So if I just talk about gold also, gold is also often associated with resilience, strength, and timeless value. I think these are all the qualities that celebrate womanhood also. So gold has also endured, it's a store of value. Traditionally, women have been investing in gold, but now they are looking to other instruments also. They are investing directly into equities, into mutual funds, ETFs also. So they are exploring other avenues. In fact, they are also participating in cryptocurrency. So they want to enhance their returns. They are actually moving towards financial independence. So my advice to women investors is to start early, to invest consistently, be informed, and take your own decisions. Do not be just dependent on the male member of your family. Stay informed. There are a lot of information afloat around. So stay updated with the latest information and start exploring other avenues. So diversify your portfolio. Do not just invest in gold as a jewelry, but also invest in gold for steady returns. In fact, silver also you can explore. You can explore gold ETFs also and invest directly into equities as well as mutual funds. So the best thing is to diversify your portfolio and have a broader corpus of portfolio for financial independence as well as for long-term wealth creation. That will provide you a lot of financial security in long term.
Point taken. Diversify, identify what are your life goals, your short, mid-term and long-term goals, and then look at the appropriate investment options for you to invest in so that they can give you greater set of returns. Sugandha, where will gold come in? Do you think it actually saves for a long term only? You know, a lot of us women, we buy gold jewelry thinking that this will actually come in handy in case of emergencies. But is gold jewelry or physical gold truly an investment option, or should we only look at, say, digital options that are there, you know, something like a sovereign gold bond that existed, ETF, or maybe digital gold, gold mutual funds? How would you identify for our viewers who think that buying gold jewelry provides them that extra edge?
See, gold jewelry does provide you an extra edge. You have touch and feel. You can use it for ornament purposes. Besides that, it also provides investment perspective also. So gold prices have been soaring higher and gold has kind of endured its appeal as a store of value since centuries. So yes, it also serves the purpose of investment. But then if you are a new age investor, I think looking at gold ETFs, digital gold or gold funds is a better option because you are safe from the hassle of storing gold, the purity concerns and making charges, all of that. So, so you have better options which are available and you can always get steady returns from gold. So gold is not for wealth creation. So you have to understand this perspective. Gold is always an asset which provides a hedge to your portfolio. In fact, it mitigates risk. It's act as a shield against any economic uncertainty or any geopolitical
Okay.
uncertainty. But for wealth creation, one should certainly look at mutual funds, real estate, or direct equities. These are the investment options for wealth creation. But yes, for shielding your portfolio, one should certainly offer gold and add certain part of your portfolio towards gold.
Okay, got that. Let's actually go back to Gauri now to understand, how are various instruments really taxed? Well, let's go to the gold expert then. Sugandha, okay, tell us, how does one really ensure that one has the best of both worlds? Gold for our personal usage in terms of jewelry and gold for investments. How does one decide how much money goes where as a, woman investor?
So jewelry is obviously your preference and your usages, your needs. But then when it comes to the investment perspective, I think every portfolio should have at least 10 to 15% of allocation towards gold
Okay.
because it will protect your portfolio against any inflation risk, any currency debasement, or any geopolitical or economic uncertainty. So it will enhance your returns. We are seeing the current trends also in market where we have seen a sharp crack in domestic equities, but then gold is soaring to new highs every
Yeah.
now and then. In fact, since 2016 onwards, gold has been in a persistent uptrend, and we have seen gold prices soaring to new record highs this year also. In fact, this year also, gold is up by around 11% after recording returns of around 21%. So it's kind of shielding your portfolio, but yes, one should balance your portfolio with allocation towards equities, mutual funds. So it all depends on your risk horizon, your risk appetite, your investment horizon. So all these factors will certainly come into play. But yes, as a thumb rule, 10 to 15% of allocation should go towards gold, and it could be in new age instruments or in physical gold as well. So my preference is gold ETFs, which provide you a lot of liquidity, flexibility, and it's an electronic form of holding gold. So you get exposure to gold without physically owning it.
Okay. Sugandha, we've been discussing about gold, but does silver somehow look more attractive than gold as an investment opportunity? That's how we have been really listening to all the conversations. Why is it that silver is now getting more preference over gold as an investment option? And what's your outlook on both gold and silver?
See, my outlook is constructive on both gold and silver because we are seeing a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, the trade conflicts between US and its major trading partners. So
Yes.
this is leading to a lot of concerns about US economic growth as well as global growth. So this is likely to provide a lot of demand for gold going forward also. So we are seeing a lot of investors seeking protection in gold. So gold is definitely a part of portfolio because it will going to provide you steady returns. But yes, if you want higher returns and you can digest slightly higher volatility, silver can also be looked upon because silver market is in a deficit for fifth consecutive year. This is the expectation for 2025. And overall, the demand for silver in industrial applications has been on a rise. So if you see 5G technologies, the solar panels, the demand for silver has been increasing significantly. Besides this, demand for silver from China is also likely to surge this year because China has been coming out with various stimulus measures to boost demand for base metals as well as to revive its economy. So this is likely to favor the outlook for silver going forward. Even though gold has outperformed silver in recent times, but then I feel silver is likely to outperform gold in 2025. We are seeing a lot of demand coming in from China as well as globally also. So overall, in terms of the levels, I see once the level of $32 per ounce is breached, we are likely to see silver heading higher towards $37 per ounce, and then eventually $42 per ounce is also the level that we can look for this year. In terms of the domestic market, once we see a surpass of around 97,000 mark, we are likely to see 1,10,000 mark initially, and then 1,25,000 as well. For gold
Okay.
also, we have a constructive outlook, though gold looks slightly stretched and there can be some corrective waves also in the third quarter. We are foreseeing that. So yes, one can certainly look at gold currently in the short term, but then if you want to invest for a long-term perspective, wait for some declines. I see gold prices heading lower also during the third quarter of this year towards level of around 79,000 levels as well. So you can stagger your purchases at different levels. So 79,000 mark is a good level to accumulate gold for a long-term perspective. For
Okay.
next year, we are looking at levels of around 1 lakh as well for gold. This year,
Wow.
I'm not eyeing levels beyond 89,000 mark. But yes, for 1 year perspective, 1 lakh mark is also a possibility for gold.
Okay, start staggering your investments in gold and silver. The outlook is constructive on both of them. 79,000 on gold for the near term, which could be a great level to accumulate. It could go up to 89,000 levels this year. But next year, you could actually see gold at 1 lakh levels as well. So in case you've been deferring your investment decisions as far as gold is concerned, start doing that, on a staggered fashion now itself. And silver could actually outperform with greater returns with 1,25,000 on the outside, as Sugandha has pointed out. I'll come to the for a later time as well. Sugandha, coming to you for the closing comments there. How are you really advising women who come to you and, at this point in time, what is the best way to handle, money at this point?
I think the first important thing is to set your financial goals. The short term, long term, Pooja has already elaborated on that.
Sure.
But then, apart from that, take financial decisions for yourself as well as your family. So, that
Yes.
is the second important thing. Start early and be very consistent, and also try to understand a bit of the market cycles. Not every asset will perform at all the times. So, you can see gold maybe performing at this point of time, but then next year maybe it's not performing. So be very consistent and do not invest all your money in any asset when it's at its top. Rather, invest when it's at its lowest. So, like you see in equities, we are seeing a lot of people, they are stopping their SIPs.
Yes,
Then,
yes.
when the market are at lows, this is the right time to rather invest. If you have to stop your SIPs, do that at higher levels, not at these lowest levels. So, I would say that be very consistent. Do not stop your SIPs because that will give you the benefit of compounding. So be very consistent, keep yourself updated, read regularly, and take your own financial decisions. So that will lead to a
Okay.
lot of wealth creation and provide you financial security.
Fair point right there. Thank you so much to all three of you for sharing some important insights when it comes to women and money management. So three women talking about money that actually shares that, we need to talk more about money, and that's an important one. Thank you so much. All of your insights have, I'm sure, greatly helped all our viewers. In case the viewers, you have any questions and you want us to really continue this conversation in greater details with our separate other shows, we will be able to do that. In case you send us your comments and tell us that where exactly would you need more episodes and where do you need more assistance, and we'll be happy to provide you, and all our guests will be happy to come back on the screens to help you and guide you on your money management. Thank you so much to each of you. Yet again, wishing all three of you a very happy Women's Day. And with that, we wrap up this special edition. Happy Women's Day to all our viewers yet again. But this is not just a Women's Day special. Remember, this is something that has guided you for the future. And I hope this really takes you back to your own money lessons and you are able to take better decisions for your financial future. Stay tuned with us on Business Today. A lot more is coming up on the other side.